Hey, Joe, I'm just bringing you in to do a sound check really quick, just to make sure I can see you, just to make sure I can hear you, and then I'll kind of take you off. And I cannot hear you.
Oh, hot dog. I'm going to get out and come back in.
Oh, now I can hear you.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, good to see you. Can you hear me, JP?
I can't. Now you're sounding good. I'm going to take myself off this.
Okay, cool. You can take me off then. You can get rid of me till Larry comes back.
How you doing, Joe?
I'm good, Mr. Mayor. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely.
Man, how you doing?
I'm late.
Larry is here. He is getting ready. He'll be up in a few minutes.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
From the car is a really cool look. I like the adventure feel.
My little car. Need my little car.
Is it a Bugatti, your car?
I don't even know what that is. But no, it's a Mini.
Hi, Mayor Nutter. How are you, man?
Hey, Larry Platt.
No road rage. No road rage, Mayor.
No, the road is blocked off. I'm like, what? Jesus.
Sorry. Hey, PJ, can you hear me? I've got like very little sound on Larry.
Oh, wait, I got it here.
Seems like I got the best sound today.
How am I sounding now?
Laugh.
Ha 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 ha.
We're good. That fixed it. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Is that how you laugh?
No, this is how I laugh.
Seriously?
You've heard me laugh. That's all I do on this fucking show.
Okay. All right. Joe's trying to figure out why did he sign up for this.
Welcome to this episode of How to Really Run a City, powered by Accelerator for America, the nation's leading do tank for cities. I'm Larry Platt of the Philadelphia Citizen, a nonprofit, nonpartisan media organization that seeks to reinvigorate democracy in the American city where it was born. Check us out at thephiladelphiacitizen.org. How to Really Run a City features two accomplished practitioners of the art of urban changemaking, former two-term Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed and former two-term Philadelphia Mayor Michael Nutter. If you've listened to past episodes, you know the drill. If you're frustrated by the stupidity and the childishness and the finger-pointing and the downright meanness coming from Washington, D.C., well, this podcast is a testament to the notion that there are really three political parties in America: Democrats, Republicans, and mayors, who have no choice but to be practical problem solvers. Today, we have a bit of a special episode for you. We're usually talking about innovations in cities. Today, we're going to be having a discussion around a much bigger and more pressing question. How do we get past what feels like the virtual and sometimes all too real civil war that we all seem to be in? The mayors will be joined by former Congressman Joe Walsh, the one-time political mentor to Charlie Kirk, who broke from Donald Trump in 2018 and has been on a personal mission to restore sanity in our politics, and has even, within the last few months, become a Democrat because of these dire times. We hope Mayor Reed will join us. He is partying in LA, but let's check in with Mayor Nutter and our guest, former Congressman Joe Walsh. Let's get our guest on here. I will say to our audience that we may be joined by Mayor Reed or not.
Yeah.
I hope he does, because I know he was excited about this particular episode, because this is not going to be like one of our usual episodes where we talk about particular innovations in cities. This one is about a much bigger and more pressing question, which is like, how do we find our way back to recognizing the humanity in one another in these fraught times? And that is the personal mission of our very pissed off guest, my friend Joe Walsh, the one-time Tea Party congressman and former right-wing talk show host who, as he says now, was a total political asshole back then. He broke with the Tea Party in 2018 when it was overtaken by Trump. He ran a quixotic primary challenge to Trump in 2020 and has now become a Democrat. There he is, my man, Joe Walsh. How you doing, man?
Hey, Larry, can you hear me?
I can.
And Mr. Mayor, can you hear me?
I can. Yeah.
Can I just say this at the damn outset?
Oh, geez.
I've done 13,953 podcasts in the last 3 years. This is the most disorganized, discombobulated. What a mess. I still don't know where the mayor's driving. Nobody can hear each other. You guys, it's been so fun to listen to you both before you brought me on.
Well, good to see you too, Joe. I mean, shit.
Oh my God.
I mean, we haven't even asked the guy a question and he's cursing already. I mean, God damn.
It's good to be with you both.
This is how Democrats run things. I was waiting for you to. Waiting for you. Now I'm an independent, but still,
organization is so overrated. I mean, like, what do you want?
It's an honor. That all of that aside, Mr. Mayor, it's a darn honor to be with you.
It's an honor to have you, Joe, because particularly at this moment, I don't know how many people know that you were really Charlie Kirk's political mentor.
Yeah.
So first of all, my condolences on the personal front.
Yes.
And secondly, you've also, I watched you on the night of the assassination on CNN, and you were the only person I saw, even then, not willing to make a First Amendment martyr of your former friend.
Yeah.
So you've been very clear about denouncing political violence, but also telling the truth. Can you give us a bit of that background and actually how you're parsing those two points of view?
Look, it's great to be with you guys. Earlier today on Fox News, a Catholic cardinal, and I'm a Roman Catholic kid, baptized as an infant. I forget which cardinal it was, but there was a Catholic cardinal on Fox News this morning that said Charlie Kirk is a modern day St. Paul.
So when I heard the tragic news, I said, I wonder who he was. And the more I learned about him, I thought, this guy's a modern day St. Paul. He was a missionary. He's an evangelist. He's a hero. He's one, I think, that knew what Jesus meant when he said the truth will set you free. The difference is the way, the mode, the style that he did it, always with respect.
If I were behind a wheel, Mr. Mayor, I'd have lost it. I couldn't believe it. The way we're deifying this young man who I knew well. Look, the story's simple. I met Charlie when he was 16 years old. I was on my way to Congress as a Tea Party guy. Charlie was a young, he was a sophomore in high school, a young Tea Party guy. And I went to Congress. I became his political mentor. I helped him launch Turning Point USA. He and I were political pals until Trump came along in 2016. And then, like you both know the story, right? So many friends and family members in this age of Trump. Charlie and I became estranged. He became a big Trumper. I became a big never Trumper. And Larry and Mr. Mayor, it's like the story of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
We were both Tea Party, and then Tea Party became this ugly thing called MAGA. And damn near all of my former Republican colleagues jumped on the MAGA road, and I couldn't. And so I found myself estranged from my son politically, and even with all of that, and I abhorred what he became. But even with all of that, when hearing about the assassination, it still felt like I lost a son.
Yeah, my condolences on that.
Thank you for laying that out. And yes, condolences to you. And I want to be very clear. And I have not really talked about this publicly, although I did in my class on Wednesday, teach at Columbia. Political violence is just unacceptable and should be unacceptable in any form, and whether it's a well-known person or somebody walking down the street, we have to denounce violence. There is no excuse or absolving that. And now we're seeing, not just with this individual, but I'm not going to put one above the other, but it sets an even different tone in the country. I mean, we can go back to Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy, John Kennedy, and Abraham Lincoln. I mean, all of these things affect this country and the tone and tenor of the mindset of people. And every one of those deaths and every death has an impact on somebody and on a community. And I think one of the challenges now, how do I talk about this particular individual and not seem insensitive? I don't know if you all have seen this pastor. He said, how you die does not redeem how you live.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are still talking about an Alexandria pastor's Sunday sermon. The message to his congregation about the nation's response to Charlie Kirk's death has gone viral.
And I do not celebrate the killing of anyone.
Video of his Sunday sermon now going viral.
Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be assassinated. Hearing people with selective rage who are mad about Charlie Kirk but didn't give a damn about Melissa Hortman and her husband.
He did not hold back.
Tell me I ought to have compassion. How you die does not redeem how you lived.
Mm-hmm. You know, in a society that does not deal with nuance very well and finds it hard to hold, two ideas in their heads at the same time, you cannot like everything that he said, but not be in agreement with what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know why Americans are struggling with this. And so if you say anything that is not in the realm of the martyrdom, the folks who decried the idea of cancel culture now will cancel you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, you're so right. When he was killed, I did a lot of TV because I knew him well. And I was instructed, guys, before I went on CNN and MSNBC, almost every time, I was instructed by the producers, do your best. Just speak well of him.
Right.
This is just about, honoring, the life he lived. And I was frank. I said, I'm going to answer the questions. I knew him well. But Mayor, to your point, they did not want me to go on TV and say, I loved him like a son. I abhorred what he said and what he became. But doggone it, murder and political violence is unacceptable. That's it.
Right.
So, Joe, why do you say that he wasn't about free speech rights?
Yeah, Larry, what Charlie Kirk perfected, which a lot of my former colleagues on the right have perfected, is it's this in-your-face, provocative, I want to create a viral moment kind of media. Like he went onto these college campuses. And by the way, this is what the old Joe Walsh used to do. I used to go on TV and go in groups and I'd be the most freaking outrageous and son of a bitch I could be to get that clip. I stopped doing that a long time ago. That's what Charlie and everybody are still doing. Like he went onto a college campus, couple thousand young students, and it would be this gotcha moment. It was all about creating a viral gotcha moment where he could make a young college kid look stupid.
You create a company that's like close to being a fascist, and then
okay. How am I?
Sorry.
Let's go through this. How am I a fascist?
Dude, you.
Can you name one thing I believe that's fascist?
You believe that you on. Oh, shit.
Don't boo him. Let him think.
But I'm such a bad fascist. I let the people who disagree in open mic to talk to me for 2 hours uninterrupted.
Okay.
I'm an awful fascist.
And then they'd put that out everywhere and it would get a gazillion views. There was no effort at conversation. And we do too much of this in our politics today. Both extremes do it. I think the right has done it a lot better. What the country needs is conversation. They don't need this in-your-face gotcha stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Joe, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to try to ask one of those really intellectual, thought-provoking kinds of questions that Mayor Reed does so effortlessly. With the pauses and like serious SAT, GRE, LSAT words. But Joe, walk us through the process of the moment when you realized I can't be a part of this? Was there a incident?
Yeah.
Was there a precipitating event? Is there a date, a time, a circumstance, a moment where you just said, I'm done?
Yeah. Hey, Larry, I don't watch my language with you. With the mayor, I'm going to watch my language.
Trust me, the mayor is fouler than I am.
Nah.
All right.
No, don't do that.
Then let's go. Mr. Mayor, that's my favorite fucking question ever. So when I went to Congress, I was the absolute poorest member of Congress. Hard to believe. 435 people in the House, another 100 in the Senate. Out of all of them, I was the poorest.
Wow.
I never made money. I was always about the mission and the cause. But then when I left Congress and I started doing conservative talk radio and right-wing media, baby, I was finally bringing it in. So, Mr. Mayor, when Trump first won in 2016 and he was sworn in, I'm on the radio all over the country, Fox News every day. For the first time in my life, I'm making real money. Oh, and then I came home from my radio show 40 days after he was president. And I watched him that day lie repeatedly and go off and just issue just a cruel, cruel statement about people of color.
Parents, if you're watching with children, you might want to mute for the next 35 seconds. The Washington Post reported minutes ago that today in the Oval Office, President Trump grew frustrated with lawmakers discussing immigration when they floated restoring protections for immigrants from Haiti, El Salvador, and African countries as part of a bipartisan immigration deal. Here's the moment you want to mute. According to two people briefed in the meeting, the president asked, quote, "Why are we having all these people from shithole countries come here?" The president then went on to talk about how they needed to bring in more people from places like Norway.
I came home that night and had dinner with my wife that night, and I looked at my bride and I said, "Sweetie, we're going to lose all of this. I don't know when, but sometime in the next year, I'm going to publicly have to turn away from him. And so we're going to lose all of this career and money and livelihood I got." Mr. Mayor, it was watching him as president for about a month, and I literally saw myself. I saw the divisive asshole I had been for 5 or 6 years. I cried every night going to bed because I thought I helped put this fucking guy in the White House. I realized how destructive and divisive I had been. And just watching him for a month as president, I saw myself and I realized, look, I'm a populist. I wanted political disruption. I realized he was an evil disruptor. And at that moment, I knew I was going to have to turn away from him publicly because you have to do it publicly. And I was going to lose and basically take a blowtorch to my career. So then eventually, within the next year, I did it. I started to walk away from him and criticize him. And then I'd get beat up by my former colleagues and beat up by my advertisers. And then I just finally came out and said, that's it. And publicly said, I oppose Donald Trump with every fiber of my being. But it wasn't easy.
If you don't mind asking, and I understand if you decline, what did your wife say?
That's so funny, Mr. Mayor. No one's ever asked me that question. Thank you. She started to cry because, again, she married me. I think she fell in love. But we had a rocky financial life until after I left Congress. But she knew then, Mr. Mayor, that I was going to do what I thought was right. And she started to cry and she said, "I love you and I believe in you." But she also started to cry because she knew that we were going to lose everything.
Wow. And Joe, when you say lose everything, how disruptive was this to your life?
In a nutshell, Larry Platt, I took a blowtorch to my career. So I lost all of my right-wing media stuff. Fox News gave me the middle finger and said, "You're never coming back on." The Republican Party looked at me and said, "You're done. You can never be a Republican or run as a Republican again." Almost all of my supporters left me. Almost all of my friends left me. Plenty of family left me. And from that moment, Larry, about 7.5 years ago, I mean, I've put up with death threats on a regular weekly basis. It's that.
Wow.
It's that.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Because, everybody asks me, you two know this, Mr. Mayor, you know this, my politician friend. When I publicly turned against Trump, all of my former Republican colleagues privately called me and said, damn it, Joe, I agree with you. I can't say that publicly, but I agree with you. Because politicians don't want to walk away from everything. Politicians don't want to not get elected. Talk radio hosts don't want to lose their audience and their money and all that. So we understand why most politicians would never even think about doing that.
I hear you and I agree. It's just, I mean, don't you also just have to think about like who you are or how you want to live your life? I mean, I'm not suggesting any of us are, angels or immediately going to heaven. But my thing when I was in office, and obviously I was not in Congress, it's not like you don't think about like this decision, could have some impact on my, political career. I mean, no one should be reckless. But I mean, it was never like, I might lose my job. You can't live in fear. Are you not capable of doing anything else? I mean, you didn't even take a fucking test for this job.
That reminds me of the story of the longtime United States senator who was in office for like 30 years. And then he finally left. And he, after he got out of office, he got in the backseat of his car and the car didn't move for an hour and a half. He was just used to having somebody drive him everywhere. I think, Mr. Mayor, to your question,
Oh my God.
to your question though, like people always ask me, why do you do it, Joe? Why did you do it? Was it really hard? And it was hard, but I've told Larry before, it was also the easiest decision I've made because I couldn't live with myself if I hadn't done that. Now, what's unusual, I think, about this moment is, and I say that as somebody who was a Republican my whole life, we ain't never, ever seen a situation like this where one of our political parties has become, a cult. Like there's no middle ground. If you oppose Trump as a Republican, you're done. It was never that way with Reagan, George W. Bush, old man Bush. This is something completely different. It's a club. And to be in the club, you have to get down on your damn knees and bow to him or there's no room in the club. I don't ever remember something like this.
Well, Mr. President, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to work for you. You made this country safe. You opened up the economy. You enforced the law. Now people can get up and provide for their families.
Mr. President, I invite you to see your big, beautiful face on a banner in front of the Department of Labor because you are really the transformational president of the American worker.
Thank you for saving college football, by the way. We're all very grateful.
Mr. President, working for this government, for you, is the greatest honor of my life. I tell it to everybody, and I really do feel that way, and I thank you.
This is the greatest cabinet working for the greatest president, and I just want to say thank you. I'm having the time of my life working for you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, Larry.
You've been traveling the country talking to groups of Democrats, and what is your message?
And Republicans across the board.
Who would be? What is your message to them in these times? And what are you finding? What should both parties be doing? What is your advice?
So that the sort of the jump start to every conversation, because Larry, the other thing I found out campaigning for Kamala Harris last year every day was that people are craving face-to-face conversations. I mean, craving to have face-to-face conversations. So I am traveling the country. We're having these conversations and filming them. And usually to jumpstart every conversation, no matter whom I'm with, the question kind of is, should America stay together? Is this worth keeping together? And that'll jumpstart a conversation. And then that leads into, Larry, okay, then if you want America to stay together, what the hell do we have to do to keep it together? And the kind of the point is, it doesn't matter who the president is. If the American people don't start getting along or not or if we don't stop hating the people we disagree with, we're done, no matter who's in the White House. That's kind of the gist of what these conversations are about. Not everyone reacts well to that, Larry.
Do you leave these conversations hopeful or less hopeful?
Oh, man, I'm going to give you a politician's answer. I'm right down the middle. I'm right down the middle. I mean, half the folk out there are ready. Let's just get a national divorce, Joe. I want it to be peaceful, but we can't coexist anymore. Half the folks I speak to feel that way. So we're at a real, I've said often, I think you and I have talked about it, Larry. I think we are like that proverbial married couple that's kind of like going to give therapy one more effing shot.
Yeah.
And if we can't talk and listen to each other, then let's just have an amicable divorce.
Let's quickly interrupt this riveting conversation for a word from our partner, Accelerator for America.
I'm Ann Bovair-Nevins, Chief of Economic and Community Impact at Accelerator for America. We believe that public workforce investments should drive economic mobility and connect more residents to good jobs. But research shows that over 40% of individuals who complete federally funded workforce programs still earn less than $25,000 a year. 2 years ago, Michael Nguyen was struggling to afford groceries and rent in Philadelphia, stuck in a cycle of low-wage jobs with no path forward. Today, he's a lab manager at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, preparing to return to college with the hospital's support. For the first time, Michael sees a future filled with opportunity. His story is one of more than 1,500 stories made possible by the Skills Initiative, a dynamic Philadelphia-based workforce development model that helps adults who are underemployed or experiencing long-term unemployment prepare for good jobs with long-term career pathways. The Skills Initiative has incredible outcomes. It secures quality job placements for 93% of its graduates and increases their annual income by an average of $12,000 a year. Over 83% of Skills Initiative graduates remain in their positions 12 months later, which is nearly twice the retention rate for the typical workforce program. The model's success stems from deep employer partnerships, co-designed training programs, and a commitment to unlocking residents' potential by providing the right wraparound services for participants. Now, after 15 years of refining the model in West Philadelphia and the Navy Yard, the Skills Initiative and Accelerator for America are taking it national as part of our Clinton Global Initiative commitment to action. Over the next 18 months, we'll engage leaders in more than 100 communities and provide hands-on support to help at least 2 launch their own local skills initiative. When this happens, more adults will be able to access high-quality jobs to support their families, pursue their priorities, and ultimately transform their communities. You can learn more about our partnership on our website, acceleratorforamerica.org.
And now back to the show. When you say you were a political asshole, what do you mean? And give me an example. Like, was it just that you were performative and in your face?
Larry, somewhat performative, but generally it was because I so strongly believed in what I believed that I went over my skis a lot. It feels like 100 years ago, but like I went to Washington before Trump ever came on the scene. And I went to Washington. I was part of that Tea Party class. I wanted to blow it up and burn it down and drain the swamp and do all of that shit that Trump said he wanted to do and never did, because Trump is the swamp. But I wanted to blow it up. I wanted to be a disruptor. I was pissed at both parties, all parties.
What created this mess is your government. All the marketplace does is respond to what the government does. The government sets the rules. Don't blame banks and don't blame the marketplace for the mess we're in right now. I am tired of hearing that crap.
So don't.
I am tired of hearing that crap.
Fighting the situation, taking and
there
loaning
are
money
all,
out to people they know they couldn't
there
afford
are
it.
already mechanisms in place. No, you know what? Because this pisses me off. Too many people don't listen.
And because I was so passionate about what I believe, like back in the day, man, a lot of what Obama did just pissed me off. So instead of going after Obama on an issue, I'd go beyond an issue and I'd get personal with Obama. And again, I've had 7 years, Mr. Mayor and Larry, and it's been humbling, but it's been cleansing, where I've had to go on CNN and publicly apologize for all the bad shit I said.
Let me ask you this, because again, you're on conservative radio now, and you went after President Obama a lot in ways that you've now apologized for. Again, we'll stipulate you said he was a Muslim. You've apologized for that. Had President Obama gone out in the White House, the South Lawn, looked up at the sky and said, I am the chosen one, how would have 2015 Joe Walsh have treated that on the radio?
2015, Joe Walsh would have gone crazy. And John, more importantly, all of my listeners in conservative talk radio would have gone crazy. This, again, is what's so disappointing, the silence. Trump increases the deficits more than Obama, and yet all of my listeners and all of the Republicans stay silent. I've told you this before. The one good thing Donald Trump has done for me is he's taught me how absolutely ugly personal political hate is, because I engaged in that way too much when I was in Congress. But and now when I look back at some of the stuff I said, like Obama would sign some executive order, and instead of just arguing about that executive order, I'd lash out and say, oh, Barack Obama, he hates America. Now, when I listen to that now, I cringe. Marjorie Taylor Greene 5 months ago said that Ilhan Omar hates America. And when she said that, I cringed.
Censuring Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. Whereas elected members of Congress take an oath to bear true faith and allegiance to the United States, and whereas by openly admitting her efforts to advance Somalia's interest, Representative Omar has revealed herself to be a foreign agent acting on behalf of a foreign government.
Like, I grew beyond that. I understand that Ilhan Omar loves America. I understand that Barack Obama loves America. But when I heard Marjorie Taylor Greene say that 5 months ago, Larry, that was me 10 years ago, before I grew up and evolved. By the way, Larry, Mr. Mayor is driving to have dinner with Barack Obama tonight, so go ahead.
Are you, Mr. Mayor? Because
right.
you could tell him Joe apologizes.
Yeah, no. Well, we're going to wear tan suits and wait to see if anybody criticizes us.
Yeah, remember that?
The damn tan suit.
Were you one of the ones who was were you offended by the tan suit, Joe?
No, that one actually didn't bother me.
Okay.
How do so many people get caught up in this thing? And you've also said some of your colleagues, of course, privately, because that's what political people do sometimes, they privately agree with you and then publicly can't say anything. And I'm like, well, like you said it to me, say it out loud, right? So
yeah,
is it fear of him or the fear of his followers and some of their behaviors? What do they think is going to happen?
Spot on, Mr. Mayor. Every one of my former colleagues who is afraid to speak out with him, they do not fear Donald Trump. They fear Donald Trump's hold on the Republican Party base. End of story. Trump has a cult-like hold on the Republican base. And by the way, when I came out against Trump 7-8 years ago, MAGA, which is the base, was fringe or a little more than fringe. MAGA now is the Republican Party. It's the animating force in the party. It's no longer fringe. So there are more true believers in Congress now, whereas there were much more cynical Republicans back then. But Mr. Mayor, to your point, they're afraid of the Republican voters. They know Trump has a hold on them that's unbreakable.
Can you enlighten us to the difference between Tea Party and MAGA? Because that's really, I think that's morphed in a lot of people's imagination. But you're an example of someone who was one and then refused to be the other.
So, and this is the story of, say, like me and Charlie Kirk. 15, 16 years ago, when I first met him as a 16-year-old kid, we were both Tea Party. And to us, that meant limited government, do something about all of this debt, free markets, and capitalism. And in fact, Turning Point USA, Charlie's organization, began only focusing on the economic issues. And that's what animated me. That was the Tea Party for most of us. The Tea Party became MAGA, Larry, because there were actually two strands to the Tea Party. One was all the economic stuff I just said, the debt. But then there was this uglier strain that was below the surface, the nationalistic, the white Christian thing, the culture war bullshit. And when we went to Congress, us Tea Party people, and we didn't do a damn thing about the debt because the Republicans were worse on the debt than the Democrats were, all of the Tea Party folks out there became disillusioned. Along came Trump, and Trump effectively tapped into that uglier strain. He came down that escalator in 2015. He said, I'm going to build a wall and keep brown and black people out. He tapped into the uglier white Christian nationalist shit. That's what MAGA is.
Yeah.
Tea Party was all about financial economic. MAGA is all about, doggone it, build a wall around America. This needs to be a white Christian country again.
And you saw that coming in early in his, because you supported Trump in the 2016 election, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. And as I always say, Larry, and I mean it, the honest answer is I voted for him because I didn't pay enough attention to him. And I wanted disruption. I knew he was a disruptor. But underneath your question, this is something else I got to live with. I always saw that uglier strand in the Tea Party from the very beginning. I did not pay enough attention to it. I was so focused on the debt. I wish I had stopped people back in 2010, 11, 12. Stop that bullshit. Stop that bigoted talk. Stop that nationalistic talk. We're not a Christian country. There's no state religion. I wish I had done a better job in the early days of squelching that, because now it's a monster.
Am I wrong in remembering that that the Tea Party really grew strength from opposition to Obamacare?
No, the Tea Party, well, it grew in strength. The Tea Party began when George W. Bush was president, and it was a reaction against all of the bailouts.
Gotcha. Okay.
But Larry, you're spot on, man. It grew 1,000-fold once Obama got elected, and that's when you began to see some of the other stuff.
So let's talk about you are now in the same political party as Mayor Nutter and Mayor Reed.
Oh my God.
What a journey, man. We'll post Joe's on the Philadelphia Citizen, we'll post Joe's announcement a few months ago, which I thought was brilliantly written. Let me just give you, let me explain why, you write. Let's start with the obvious. A tyrant sits in the White House. The very thing our founders feared most is here. And then you talked about the Constitution cannot sit by and watch as fundamental American values, the rule of law, democracy, and pluralism are attacked daily. You've really become a moralist. You're talking about our public morals. Is that right?
Yeah. I'm talking, Larry, about the founding principles of this country, which weirdly was why I was Tea Party to begin with, right? Limited government, abhorrence of tyranny, government tyranny, a tyrant, a king. And I believe my former party is an utter real threat to these founding principles, democracy, the rule of law, the Constitution. We're seeing it play out every day now. And after Trump won in 2024, I had been a political independent for 5 years. I left the Republican Party in 2020. I was out there in homeless independent land. But after Trump won, guys, I said, I want to stay in the fight. And my party will burn this democracy down. And the Democrats got to get their fucking act together so I can be of more value. I want to help recruit other people like me to join the other party, because the other party, the Democratic Party, is the only party that can stop what my former party has become.
So let me play straw man here. Let me play devil's advocate. Oh, yeah. Joe, you've got infected with Trump derangement syndrome. Seriously, fascist. How do you make that case?
Again, in no particular order, systematically glorifying the military and using the military for his own means, disappearing and blaming brown and black people for America's decline, strategically, individually, and in groups, going after and denying basic civil liberties of various Americans, persecuting and prosecuting his political enemies, taking over the Justice Department to go after his political opponents, trying to destroy free speech, trying to systematically, so much gets lost there. The Secretary of the State said, if you're an immigrant in this country and you criticize Charlie Kirk, your visa's gone. Other administration officials are doing the same thing. It's this accumulation of power in one man, backed by a military on our streets, masked military agents to go after our own people, and then the basic deprivation of basic civil liberties and civil rights to the American people. I could go on, but
no, I that is a very strong argument, and sometimes we lose that 30,000 foot. You've made a closing argument.
Larry, can I add one more?
Please.
To your profession, targeting and silencing the free press.
Right.
Systematically.
Right. I'm just amazed at this process. And by the way, we lost Mayor Nutter. This has been a fascinating example of the tagline for the show is two mayors talking about how to really get shit done, and yet we can't really get a podcast done.
They're great. We'll do it again.
One of the things is you have become friends with people who the old Joe Walsh would have never have recognized the humanity in these other people, right? Can you talk to us about that?
I helped to divide this country. People like me helped to bring Donald Trump on the scene. I've got to live with that. This country right now is at each other's throats politically. We're on this road where the people we disagree with, we hate, we want to destroy. They're our enemy. People like me, and I was very public, helped put us on this road. I had my, road to Damascus moment. It was painful, but I've been on a mission the last 7 years to fix what I helped to fuck up. And it's about healing the divide. You and I, Larry, probably disagree on a number of issues. Sitting down with someone like you, even if we don't find common ground, big deal. That would be great. But I sit down with people because I want to understand why they think the way they do. I'm a big gun rights guy. I love to sit down with gun safety, gun control people, not necessarily to find common ground, but I want to understand their take. Because if I understand people better, I'm less likely to hate them.
Well, and what you just reminded me of is, so you'll be at our Ideas We Steal Festival November 14th in Philly with Fred Gutenberg, who a lot of people will remember. Fred is a gun activist whose daughter was tragically killed in the Parkland shooting. And this is an example of what you're talking about, right? Because if my memory serves, you and Fred did not start out as friends.
We hated each other. Hated. We'd go after each other on social media. We'd appear on MSNBC and get in fights. We just pounded each other because I'm a big gun rights guy. He's a big gun safety guy. I thought he wanted to take away my guns. He thought I wanted a gun in every classroom. We just yelled at each other. And again, then I became the new Joe Walsh, and I said, this isn't getting us anywhere. So what I did, Larry and Mr. Mayor, was I reached out to 8 of the most well-known gun control activists in the country. And I said, I want to sit down with you and have a conversation about guns. 7 of those 8 people, by the way, gave me the middle finger. Fred was the only one who said, I don't like you, Walsh. I don't trust you, but I'll sit down. So we started to talk privately over the course of 8-9 months. We grew to like each other. We grew comfortable with each other. And then we began to find common ground. And we've taken our act on the road a little bit because I think that's what America needs to do.
So, Joe, let me ask this question. Is it your sense, I mean, are folks just waiting to kind of see what happens in 2026 and, see how those winds blow? I just want to think that there's a plan.
I think that's Joe, is there a plan?
No, Mr. Mayor, there's no plan. There's no plan. Well,
that's even more disappointing.
Yeah. Democratic voters and grassroots Democrat folks, as you two probably know, understand the stakes, and they believe there's an anti-democratic monster in the White House who and the other party is destroying everything that's made this country great. That's how I have found Democratic voters feel. The leadership is fucking out to lunch. The leadership is utterly clueless. The leadership of the Democratic Party just ain't meeting the moment. And they still think that this is 1996 and they're dealing with the 1996 Republican Party. So I think the leadership and the establishment, the Democratic Party establishment, just ain't cutting it. And what I've seen as I speak to people is it's the voters and the activists and the resist movement and the grassroots that are just going to kick the party in the ass to try to take back the House in 26. Otherwise there's absolutely no plan.
But what if you were to give advice to the Democrats, what would it be?
A few things, but forget about policy, fight like hell. Your voters, and by the way, a lot of independents want you to fight like hell. You've got to fight back if you believe this other party's trying to tear it all down. That's what I tell Democrats more than anything you've got to do. Think outside the box. Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
You have to give people something to be for, some sense of hope, some sense of direction. People want strong leadership. And so you have to fight, no matter how outrageous the things that are proposed. Even if you think you're going to lose this vote, lose that vote, lose the other vote. I'm a go down swinging kind of guy. If you're going to beat me, you're going to know you were in a fight. You better stomp me in the ground, roll back over me 2 times in the car and still check. And when they announce my funeral, you better fucking come to the funeral for confirmation.
Can I, Mr. Mayor, Larry, do you mind? Can I please right now, I demand that I become the chairman of the Michael Nutter campaign for president in 28. Fucking A, Mr. Mayor, I want that. I want what you just said there. I want in a fucking nominee.
Not even the president of my house. What are you talking about?
I'm talking to your wife after this. It's also, look, this is part of the magic of Trump is that he's just kept it simple. Make America great again, defend the border, stop street crime. And lower prices. I mean, he basically had 3 or 4. Everybody knew last year what Trump was for. Very few people, and I was out there every day campaigning for Kamala Harris. Very few people knew what Kamala Harris was for. And again, all of Trump's is bullshit and demagoguery and lies, but everybody knew what they were. The Democrats, Larry and Mr. Mayor, need 3 or 4 simple fucking buckets. This is what I'm going to do, period.
Now, part of the problem for us as Democrats is, you ask one of us what time it is, and we want to tell you how many parts are in the watch, where the fucking parts came from, who made it, how long it took to ship. And you're like, no, I just want to know what fucking time it is.
Oh, my God.
Just tell me what time it is.
I'll tell you, Mr. Mayor, I've been Democrat for 3.5 months. I had black hair 3.5 months ago.
Welcome.
Fully gray now. My God, this party, my God, they sit around and they talk and they got PowerPoints and all of this shit. Who are you? Tell me what you believe. And I don't give a flying fuck what a consultant or a pollster says. Tell me what you believe. Oh man, you're spot on, Mr. Mayor. And the other problem the Democratic Party has is there's this notion, and I hear it from people that the party's elitist. And they're out of touch with where regular folk are, white, black, and brown. I heard that everywhere on the campaign trail in Pennsylvania. Democrats did become elitist. They get back down on the fucking street with real folk.
So, but I think there is a, and we've kept Joe, longer than we promised, and I want to honor your time. But there is this issue, though, of how much can you be anti-Trump and at the same time be pro-voter, or does the anti-Trumpness blot out everything? That's really what the party's wrestling with, right? I mean, it feels to me like no one has come up with the recipe for giving people something to say yes to, and at the same time laying out the case in a way that resonates with folks.
Look, if you're a candidate for office and you can't explain to a voter why Trump is a threat to democracy and why eggs are too expensive, like if you can't do both of those things, then go home. Don't run. Don't bother to run. If you can't stand in front of a fucking voter and say, you know what? If you're in this country illegally and you're a violent criminal, I want you the hell out. But I don't want masked agents grabbing 82-year-old Latino grandmothers off of our streets, okay? If you can't fucking say that's not who we are, then don't run. Go home. This is easy.
Right.
That's great.
Right.
Hey, listen, I want to really applaud you, Joe, because you've shown a ton of bravery these last 7 years. And I will just quote from your announcement of becoming a Democrat. And I want to stress to our listeners, the Citizen is a nonpartisan organization, because in cities, we always say all the time, there are three parties in America: Democrats, Republicans, and mayors. And there's no liberal or conservative way to fill a pothole. But this has been a nonpartisan discussion, I would argue, because it's about whether there is a threat to the republic that affects both Democrats and Republicans. And you said it in your beautiful announcement. You said, take it from a former Republican fighter: Republicans fight to the death to win politically, and they've always believed Democrats won't. I thought that was so interesting and right on point. I can't thank you enough for being the patriot that you are. Both of you. Mayor Nutter, a career of public service, as much shit that I give you, I really do have incredible respect for anyone who's in the public service game. But especially, Joe, what you and I can't wait for you to meet Mayor Reed, because I think he would really love this conversation. And so I think we should do it again, because all of this shit is going to change. I can't thank you both enough.
Thanks, guys. Great to be with you both. Mr. Mayor, an honor. I think we lost him again. He froze. Perfect ending. Perfect.
Thanks, man. We'll talk soon.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Lara, thanks, man.
Well, that's it for this episode of How to Really Run a City. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and tell your friends about us. We really want to widen the conversation, because by 2050, something like 2/3 of the world will live in cities. As cities go, so goes the nation, and so goes the world. For now, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Remember to check out the Good Government Show podcast, where host Dave Martin conducts conversations with elected leaders about how government can work for all of us. Check out the Good Government Show wherever you get your podcasts, or visit goodgovernmentshow.com.